This was one of my favorite episodes of season 21, mainly because of Harvey and Daisy finally meeting each other and becoming great friends with each other since. This episode I kind of consider a little hilarious, mainly because it reminds me of the time when one of my brothers used to pout a lot, and when this episode was first released, I told him, maybe this episode will teach you not to pout so much, Pouty Pouterson. Of course, my brother didn't like it when I called him that, but he knew what I meant was true. I find this episode very ironic on how it takes place during Tale of the Brave, and I thank the writers for Toad's Adventure for bringing back Oliver and Toad in the first place before this episode aired. I adored this episode in general because of how Kevin wanted to meet Cranky 4 seasons prior to this, and he finally got his chance, even though Cranky was kinda rough on him at first, and getting furious with him and saying that he's, quotation marks, getting in the way. But after standing up for him, I realized there was some good in him. For once, I actually liked this episode for when Harvey got to pull rolling stock for the first time. Well, except being the works unit's coach when he's called to accidents and such. And I thank Andrew Brenner for bringing Harvey back. This was my all-time favorite Hero episode, mainly because I liked seeing how Hero was managing the troublesome trucks his way instead of being rough like devious Diesel was. Not only that, but this was also my mom's favorite episode too, because she likes how polite Hero is to the trucks, even if they are being troublesome. This was my favorite season 19 episode of all time, because I've always wanted to see Den and Dart work separately. Well, not counting season 15 Fiery Flynn, because that episode was garbage and it didn't focus on them at all. Just focused on Flynn being a huge fuckwit. I even liked on how Den and Dart proved that they could work separately instead of being together all the time. My all-time favorite CGI Donald and Douglas episode, and possibly the best episode out of all season 20 episodes. And to be honest, if one of my siblings got left outside in the snow and they're freezing, I would go out and find them because I love them, even if I said I would leave them out there to freeze to death. But I wouldn't really mean it, even if I was mad at them. The best CGI Henry episode and best season 17 episode. From making Henry the cowardly engine of the steam team to making him back into his normal self to help Hero after he broke down after they both took bad coal. And I thank Paul Larson for bringing Duck back in this episode. Honestly, the best Percy episode in the CGI series. And I thank Davey Moore for bringing Bill and Ben back in this episode. Possibly one of the most hilarious episodes of season 21 that I find better than the Green Controller, because Dowager Hat physically didn't know how to run a railway. This episode is what I consider superior than Edward the Very Useful Engine, and that we actually knew Thomas's plan when he said that they're going to teach Gordon a lesson to respect Edward.